Paying close attention to self-care as you're exiting survival mode or escaping survival is really important because you're at a really vulnerable time. You've been exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally, and whether or not you realize it, you're actually putting together the pieces of a new you. So here are a few tools that have helped me and my clients when we are escaping or navigating exiting survival mode. Let's dive in. A really important aspect is to remember to take time to prioritize you. When we are exiting out of survival mode, you have to remember we've spent so much time just trying to get through the day that we've often forgotten to just check in with ourselves to say, how am I feeling right now? We've often become disconnected with our own bodies. A lot of times we've got a lot of symptoms going on and we're not even aware of them because we've had to suppress them just to get through the day. So taking time to make you a priority is super important. This is the time where you really want to get back in touch with your own energy to see, how am I feeling? How is my body doing? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling calm? What am I really feeling? And more importantly, what do I need in this moment? This is the perfect time to do exercises like meditation, journaling, breath work, even just exercise or getting outside or going for a walk, getting out in nature. This is that time to get back in touch with you, to come back into your own body, and to really connect with yourself. A lot of times as well, we're not quite aware that we may be hanging on to emotions that don't even belong to us. When we're trying to survive, say we're going through it with, family or friends, we may be taking on their energy. We may be actually feeling their emotions. So having that time to really settle back into your body and really say, hey, is this even mine? What am I actually feeling? And reconnecting is super important. It really is that time to get reacquainted with yourself. And that's what's going to allow you to then start to move forward and replace, maybe it's been emotions of survival that you don't want to deal with anymore, and replace them with other emotions that you do actually want to feel. Which brings me to my next point, which is when we're reaching for those new emotions, let's reach for joy. And it may be a little bit out of reach, but I got a few ways in which you can get back in touch with that feeling. When we're coming out of survival, we probably have been through it emotionally. So you may feel numb, you may feel exhausted, you may be feeling wrung out, and even just disconnected. So sometimes joy can seem a little bit far away. So one thing I like to walk through with clients is an exercise about thinking about when you were a child, what types of activities or what did you do for fun? What could you spend all day doing? For me, it was either going outside and looking for fairies, but it was about being outside in nature, like literally playing in the dirt. Or it was reading some sort of fantasy novel in a world far, far away where anything was possible. So getting in touch with those activities that brought you joy as a child, so it could be getting outside, it could be reading a book, whatever that may be for you, can be really helpful in reaching for another emotion and reaching for a little bit more happiness, a little bit more joy. Another activity, and this is one that was taught to me, was to think about when you were a kid, what was the movie or book that you just really resonated with? You could watch it over and over, and why? Like when you look back on it now, what emotions did it bring up? So for me, I'll share again, my favorite movie all time was A Never-Ending Story. I know it's a weird movie from the 80s. If you know, you know. However, when I even now think about that movie, it was about adventure and it was about the feeling of anything being possible. It was imagination and creativity. So when I bring up that memory or that thought, it really does connect me with a sense of joy and a sense of possibility. And so when I've gone through it, like coming out of survival mode, coming out of rough patches, hanging on to an emotion like that has been really helpful to move forward and to move through that. And really, again, navigating, escaping survival. Drop it down in the comments below. If you're thinking about a movie, if something pops up, drop it in the comments below and share with everybody what actually comes up for you. Another important exercise is to really think about, are you aligned with or are you living your purpose in life? Now, this one can be a little bit deep, but I find that as we're coming out of survival mode or we're escaping survival, we're often not the same as we were before. And sometimes, the friends we may have, or the job we may have, or the things we may, have habitually done, our habits may not serve us going forward, and they may not be in alignment with who you are becoming as you're escaping survival. So taking that time to kind of reevaluate, what you feel like your purpose is in life, and connecting to that purpose, and then starting to live it and embody it can take quite a bit of time, but it's important to have that space and the time and the thought to dedicate to it, to really start to connect to that. Because again, when you've kind of exited out of survival, when you've gone through it and you come out on the other side, you may realize you're not the same person, and there may be something deeper. There may have been some sort of transformation that you've gone through, or, it could have been, universe in a way sending you a message saying, hey, look deeper. There's something else going on. There's more you're meant to do, more you're meant to be, a different way you're meant to feel, act, and be and do in the world. So thinking about this and really working with that type of energy can be really, really transformative and really helpful as you're putting yourself back together after exiting from survival mode. And a final thought I'll add here is, once you've had the time alone to process, you know what's yours, you know what's not yours, then strengthening your social connections can be really crucial. Often when we're in survival mode, we feel very alone. We can feel very isolated. We may think that nobody else knows what we're going through, or nobody else can relate. And it may be true in some fashion, but it's important to remind ourselves that it's not always true. There is community, whether it's, family or friends or a chosen family, groups that are alike, maybe corners of the internet, like this channel where you may come to, feel that you have something in common with others. Finding a way to engage in those types of communities and feel that social connection is going to be really important for you as you're kind of piecing yourself together again and exiting out of survival mode. Those bonds with friends, family, people on the internet are really important, because we are, social creatures, and we need that connection. We need that interaction between us in order to continue to grow and to continue to move forward. And so I am here to, again, empower you to really be able to take care of yourself. And as you're escaping survival and exiting survival mode, I want you to remember that it's not always necessarily going to be a linear journey. It may be up and down, and there may be, peaks and valleys, but that's totally normal. Your mood or how you feel may vary minute to minute, day to day, hour to hour, month to month. You're going to have easier times and you're going to have rougher times. But if you continue to prioritize this self-care, you're going to get through it. You're going to get there. And then on the other side, I'm excited to see who you become. So I hope that this video was helpful. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below. If you'd like to learn how to work with me, you can click on the description box below, and maybe I can help you as you're working through survival mode and coming out on the other side. So otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye.